Waiting just 10 years to start investing could mathematically cost you over $350,000? Crazy, right? Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into a fascinating, completely data-backed financial playbook specifically for your 20s. Instead of rehashing that same old generic advice we've all heard a million times, we're going to unpack the actual math behind building wealth to see what the numbers literally say. Okay, so let's treat financial independence kind of like a video game with 5 specific levels you've got to conquer. We'll start with level 1, building your financial foundation. Then level 2, defeating lifestyle creep. Level 3 is the compound interest cheat code. Level 4 tackles navigating 401ks and Roths. And finally, level 5, the big boss fight, the rent versus buy math. So, diving right into level 1, building your financial foundation. Look, you absolutely cannot build wealth without a solid defense. And the 50-30-20 rule is a brilliantly simple framework for exactly that. It basically gives every single dollar you earn a specific job to do. 50% covers your absolute needs, things like rent and groceries. 30% is set aside for your wants because, hey, you still need to actually live your life and have some fun. And that final 20%, that gets strictly locked in for your future savings and goals. But hold on, before you start chasing aggressive investment returns with that 20%, you have to build an emergency fund. We're talking 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked safely away in a high-yield savings account. Because, let's be real here, your car is going to break down at the absolute worst possible time. It's just a law of the universe. This cash acts as a shield to ensure that a random Tuesday mechanic bill doesn't suddenly spiral into crippling high-interest credit card debt. Oh, right. Moving on to level 2, defeating lifestyle creep. Now, this is the psychological trap that literally destroys young wealth. Lifestyle creep. It happens when your income goes up, but instead of saving that extra cash, your spending just magically rises to match it. It's often driven by what psychologists call the lottery winner effect. Actually, this perfectly explains why so many 20-somethings land a massive raise, yet their savings account somehow stays exactly the same. The thing is, it is dangerously easy to blur the lines between your real needs and your wants. You start making casual, unbudgeted upgrades to your daily habits, suddenly treating yourself to pricey daily salads, designer shoes, or maybe an expensive personal trainer. And sure, these feel like minor, well-deserved rewards in the moment, but in reality, they act like a leaky pipe that is secretly draining your future wealth. Which brings us to level 3, the compound interest cheat code. This is where we unleash what Albert Einstein recordedly called the 8th wonder of the world. There's this super fascinating mathematical shortcut called the rule of 72. Basically, if you divide 72 by your expected annual return, let's say a historical 7% return from broad market index funds, your money mathematically doubles every 10.3 years, and that happens without you lifting a single finger. To put that into perspective, just look at the massive difference timing makes here. Investing a mere $100 a month starting at age 25 yields around $584,000 by the time you're 65. But if you wait until you're 35 to start doing that exact same thing, you end up with less than half of that amount. Seriously, that 10-year delay represents an opportunity cost of over $367,000. Your future self will definitely not thank you for that. Okay, let's step up to level 4, navigating 401ks and Roths. So to really maximize all that compound interest, you have to know exactly which tax buckets to use. Think of a traditional 401k kind of like pruning a bush. You lower your tax bill today, but you're going to have to pay taxes on it later when you retire. A Roth account, on the other hand, is like planting a seed with post-tax money. You pay the tax up front, but that tree grows and can be harvested entirely tax-free in retirement. And the data reveals a really clear path for this. If you are early in your career and making under $50,000, you're likely in a lower tax bracket right now. So lock in that low rate. You want to lean heavily into a Roth account for that sweet tax-free growth. Then, as your income climbs the ladder into higher tax brackets over time, you'll want to gradually shift toward traditional pre-tax contributions to help lower your immediate tax burden. So here is your 3-step immediate action plan. First, always contribute enough to capture your employer's full 401k match. I mean, it is literal free money, an instant 100% return. Second, funnel regular contributions into a Roth IRA if you're eligible. And third, gradually scale up to saving 10 to 15% of your total income. Don't stress out about building some perfectly balanced portfolio on day one. The absolute most important step is simply getting on the stairs. And now for the final boss fight. Level 5, the rent versus buy math. We really need to use hard data right now to cut through the highly emotional, persistent myth that renting is simply throwing your money away. Because it's not. Rent buys you incredible flexibility, total immunity from unpredictable and expensive maintenance repairs, and absolutely zero property tax exposure. In fact, in a lot of markets, renting is actually mathematically superior, provided you're investing the difference. Comparing a monthly mortgage payment directly to monthly rent is just a fundamentally flawed equation. Owning a house can act like a massive hidden anchor. It comes with an average of $21,400 a year in hidden costs. We're talking maintenance, insurance, property taxes, HOA fees. Plus, locking a huge down payment into a house carries a staggering opportunity cost. If you had invested that down payment into the S&P 500 over 20 years, it could grow to over $300,000. Renters who invest get to capture all of that growth. Because of those massive upfront costs, real estate is completely a waiting game. According to recent 2025 market data from Zillow, the average break-even timeline for buying a home is now roughly 7 to 9 years. So if you look at your timeline and you aren't absolutely certain you're going to stay put in one place for nearly a decade, the math right now heavily favors renting. But since real estate is hyper-local, generic advice is pretty much useless. You absolutely have to calculate your specific local price-to-rent ratio to make a smart move. And it literally takes 5 minutes. Just find the median purchase price of a home you like, find the annual rent for an equivalent housing setup in that exact same area, and then divide the home price by that annual rent. And here is the ultimate cheat code for this decision. If your local ratio comes in below 15, the market heavily favors buyers, and buying builds equity faster. If it's in the 15 to 20 range, it's pretty neutral, so it depends heavily on your personal time horizon. But, and this is huge, if that ratio jumps above 20, you are mathematically far better off renting and just investing your extra capital into the market. So we've built your defense, we've attacked lifestyle creep, unlocked the magic of compound interest, and totally conquered the rent versus buy debate. You officially have the playbook. Take 5 minutes today to run your local price-to-rent ratio and give your budget a quick review. The math is clear, but the execution, well, that's entirely up to you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let outdated myths dictate your wealth? Or are you ready to let the data actually build your financial freedom?